was a scorcher out there today in Denver for the first time this year. We hit 100 degrees. But that heat didn't stop people from going outside. Some people apparently like stepping into the oven.
It was even hotter up north. So hot, the Platte River Power Authority asked customers in Estes Park, Fort Collins, Longmont, and Loveland to reduce their energy use. They blame low production on wind turbines and solar farms, along with the high demand today. The energy emergency alert was downgraded soon after it was issued.
And while a lot of places could use rain, Garfield County got too much today. The sheriff's office posted this video of flooding that has shut down I-70 between Silt and Newcastle. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kim Christensen.
And I'm Kyle Clark. So we've been waiting for significant rain for a while now. Some places got more of it than they perhaps needed. Everybody got the heat. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, for a couple years now, thanks to a closed captioning error, we refer to him around here as Crispy Donkey. We were all crispy donkeys today.
We're crispy.
It was indeed crispy, except, as you mentioned, in the mountains where we got one of these classic monsoon storms, where we were just showing you in Garfield County around Newcastle. Monsoon storms are defined by the fact that they're super hit or miss, but when you get a hit, you get these slow-moving storms with a ton of water that sit over the same area and just dump a ton of rain in a relatively short period of time. Not far away from where we were just showing you that video, Glenwood Springs, about 2/3 of an inch of rain. Most of that coming in about 45 minutes. Vailville, beneficial half-inch of rain. Still seeing some shower storms at Western Slope right now, some flash flood warnings south of Grand Junction. But today, the story in Denver, 100 degrees, our first 100-degree reading of the year, and our first 100-plus since July the 9th of last year. Now, the good news is it's going to cool down tomorrow. The bad news is not really all that much. I'll show you how much and how those storm chances increase this week. That's coming up in a couple minutes.
2 people are in the Arapahoe County Jail tonight accused of mistreating older folks at an assisted living facility in Aurora. 9
News reporter Rachel Krause joins us now. And Rachel, this stems from a grand jury indictment.
Yeah, a grand jury handed down an indictment last Thursday against Angelica and James Vogel. They run the All Saints Home Care Facility in Aurora. They're both charged with neglect by a caretaker, false imprisonment of an at-risk adult, and trying to influence a public servant for alleged crimes dating back to last August. Monday afternoon, this home along Lisbon Court in Aurora sits quiet. A newspaper is on the driveway unopened, the blinds drawn, the door unanswered. This house is in the middle of a residential street, but it's the site of the All Saints Home Care Facility. 2 people who operate it, Angelica and James Vogel, are facing criminal charges, accused of mistreating at-risk adults in their care and trying to mislead investigators. The All Saints website advertises itself as a luxury assisted living and memory care facility, caring for seniors with Alzheimer's and dementia. But this isn't the first time All Saints has been in the news. Last November, 9 News spoke to a woman whose sister with dementia was staying at the home. They found out she'd been in a scary situation where she'd gotten onto the home's roof and slipped only because a video was posted by the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office. She says she wasn't notified by All Saints about what happened. Neighbors along Lisbon Court say they saw law enforcement fill the block Friday for hours as a number of people came out, some able to walk out on their own. Others needed the care of ambulances posted nearby. Neighbors say they were surprised at the situation, hopeful the residents living there are all right. A judge set bond for both Angelica and James Vogel at $75,000 cash. They're both expected in court September 14th. I reached out to the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office, who declined to comment because they're expanding their investigation. In a news release, ACSO says they are working to identify people who may have received concerning care at the facility, asking relatives and former residents to contact investigators. Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Tonight, the Denver City Council postponed a vote on changes to nightclub licensing hours after an early morning shooting killed 1 person and injured 8 others. This shooting happened at the nightclub Ultra Lounge in southeast Denver. Before the shooting, city leaders started considering overhauling how they license nightclubs, dance halls, and bars. As part of the proposal, clubs like Ultra Lounge would be required to have video surveillance, which it appears that club does have. They would have to have a written security plan and post notices about banning weapons with clear signage at entrances that weapons are not allowed. Plus, the business would be partially responsible for crowd control. Managers would need to make reasonable efforts to get crowds within 25 feet of the entrance to leave. The most notable change would be to allow clubs and bars to stay open until 4 a.m. instead of 2 a.m., but they'd have to stop serving alcohol by 2. Denver City Council postponed the vote until August 3rd. As for that shooting, no one has been arrested.
Today, Coloradans lined I-70 to honor a pilot who died while fighting the Gold Mountain fire outside of Ouray. A procession carried Nicholas Dale from the western slope to Denver International Airport. The 56-year-old pilot was killed just more than a week ago when his helicopter crashed into Silverjack Reservoir in Gunnison County. He is the 4th firefighter to die within the last month while battling wildfires in our state.
It is emotional. It's not just about this firefighter, it's about all the firefighters, all the men and women out on the lines this summer.
The FAA, the NTSB are still investigating the cause of that crash. The investigation has been delayed by the firefight. Nearly 1,000 firefighters continue to work the Gold Mountain fire. It's burned more than 38,000 acres, about 59 square miles, and as of tonight, it is roughly a quarter contained.
There are new mandatory evacuations for the Aspen Acres fire. An area of Custer County west of the fire was put under new orders just hours after people were allowed back. The fire has burned over 100,000 acres, or more than 157 square miles. That's larger than the city of Denver. The fire is now over 60% contained. Investigators say it was human cause, but they have not elaborated beyond that. The new mandatory evacuations in Custer County include Bishop Castle, but before that went into place, the Bishop family was able to return to the site for the first time since the original evacuation. They say one of today's most meaningful moments was opening the guest book and seeing the names and messages left behind by the firefighters who helped protect the area. Bishop Castle will remain closed to the public until evacuation orders are lifted. And we are hearing more stories tonight of people returning to the devastated town of Beulah. It's now been a full week since evacuation orders prompted by the Aspen Acres fires was lifted there. A coffee shop there isn't ready to fully reopen, but the owners have welcomed people in, understanding there is a need for gathering spaces during such a tough time.
People who lost everything still asking what they can do to help other people in this community. It's inspiring. It's a beautiful thing to see how this community has really shown up for each other.
The coffee shop is mainly serving drinks and bagels for now. A lot of their inventory was lost when the power went out. They hope to be back their full menu in the next couple of weeks.
Buckley Road construction hit a bit of a road bump. It was buckling caused by the extreme heat that won't be fixed until at least tomorrow. South Buckley Road, just north of East Arapahoe, is getting emergency repairs after the pavement got wonky over the weekend. Right now, South Buckley's closed at East Cali Avenue. The county thinks it'll be reopened by the end of the day tomorrow. They brought in industrial pumps to clean up the mess left behind from mudslides at a school in Telluride over the weekend. The superintendent says the mud pushed open the door at Telluride Intermediate School and filled the theater and 4 classrooms. It's the first time this has happened at the school, but it often happens down the road on Highway 145.
Our biggest fear is that if this happened, last Friday, that it may happen again. I know the forecast is not looking great in Telluride, and while we need the rain, when it all comes at once, that causes some problems.
He says several community events, including the Telluride Film Fest, could be impacted by damage to the theater. That festival starts in September. They're just hoping they can clean up the mess before the school year starts in a few weeks.
The FDA says it is still investigating Taylor Farms in connection to a cyclospora outbreak, even after reporting a false positive over the weekend. Late last night, the FDA said a lettuce sample from the company had falsely tested positive for cyclospora, the parasite that has caused horrific stomach issues in several states. Last week, Taylor Farms voluntarily recalled its iceberg lettuce grown in central Mexico. Testing continues on other samples of its lettuce. In the ongoing outbreak, 1,600 cases have been confirmed in 5 states. There are thousands of other cases nationwide under investigation. Aurora Water says its largest single customer, a water bottling company, refuses to use less water. That's despite an order for a 20% reduction under the city's drought restrictions.
9 News reporter Spencer Soysher joins us from Aurora. And Spencer, Niagara is thirsty, and City Council met tonight to talk about that.
Yeah, they want them to be less thirsty. Niagara used 200 million gallons of water last year, only allocated to use about 178 million. In a normal year, they would just pay a higher rate. But in a drought with restrictions like Aurora has right now, they want them to cut back. and Aurora is looking at a way to try to fix this. When you're out in 100-degree heat, you need to hydrate. Please drink. Our photographer Alex just chugged some of Costco's Kirkland brand water. But look closely at the label. It's bottled by Niagara. The company opened this plant in Aurora in 2012. Bottling Aurora's tap water, purifying it, and selling it, often under store brand labels. A pretty common practice, but with a new problem.
This is very new territory.
Shawnee Klein with Aurora Water says Niagara is the city's largest single water user.
I think that when your number one thing that you need for your product is water, it becomes very tricky in drought-prone areas.
And right now, Aurora is under stage 1 drought restrictions.
Companies like Niagara and like irrigators, they're expected to reduce their water usage by 20%.
But according to Aurora Water, Niagara isn't pulling back.
I think a lot of it is that they set their production schedules, and so shifting away from that appears to be a burden.
During the executive session
On Monday night, Aurora city leaders met in a closed-door session discussing how to negotiate with Niagara.
Some of the discussion that we're really trying to work through at this time is what is going to be our best options in these cases.
Klein says during normal years, Niagara exceeds its allowance, just pays a higher rate. But in a drought, the utility is seeing what more it can do to get the company to cut back.
This drought, quite literally, is, I hate the word unprecedented, but this is where we are, guys.
I reached out to Niagara today for a comment. I haven't heard back yet. We also don't know what happened in that executive session today, if Aurora decided that they can issue penalties and how severe those would be. We do think we'll know at some point soon, though. Live in Aurora, Spencer Soysher, 9 News.